Hi, everybody. I'm Christopher Lowell. After so many years as an educator, followed by a wonderful decade on the Discovery Channel, I left television quietly because I knew something was brewing on the horizon. I left for the sole purpose of tracking what I knew would be probably the most significant, culturally shared experience in recent history, certainly within my lifetime. While I expected the economic crash to be financially devastating for millions of my own viewers and readers, I also suspected and really hoped that its lingering emotional effects of imposed prioritizing would finally trigger the beginning of a long overdue national dialogue about quality of life. Well, I had a little bit more time to wait because little did we know that there were still many more compelling events about to come down the pike. Columbine, wow, showed us how fragile we'd become on the inside. Then boom, 9/11 showed us how vulnerable we'd become on the outside. Then Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth showed up on the horizon. Now, whether it's accurate or not is still up for debate. However, it gave us all a very dismal view of the shape of our planet. And then finally, of course, perpetual government gridlock. I think that was probably the last big red flag that convinced so many people that for all intents and purposes, we were pretty much solo, on our own. There were more events, of course, but all of them, in just that right sequence, pushed the quality of life issue even more front and center than it had ever been before. I suppose if there's any good news about all of this was the fact that these events prompted even the most hesitant internet users of every generation to create their own profiles and brave the new technology. Through social media, they reached out to talk about these events in efforts to communicate more directly with each other. Surprise! Because the technology was so unbelievably intuitive, within only 2 years, 2 years, mind you, it transformed what had once been a silent majority for hundreds of years into what had now become the most powerful collective voice on the planet. Over the next 2 years that followed, the most comprehensive database ever created was suddenly being used globally and daily to share our personal stories privately with each other for the very first time. The good news is that we learned about us as a global species versus individual tribes. What we reveal to each other is what actually frames the whole RightSIZE Up project. Okay, so RightSIZE Up is a culmination of a 7-year study of what we now know about each other and what it all means. For instance, did you know that more than 50% of us, that's literally every other person we know, mind you, has admitted that we're now experiencing political, environmental, and educational fatigue? But here's the big one. We've also said we're experiencing enlightenment fatigue. I know, right? When I started the RightSIZE Up project, it was really to answer one question. Are there enough of us to finally rethink the American lifestyle? What I discovered was that literally half of the American population, that's about 156 million people, get this, from every single socioeconomic base in this country, now say that they have in fact privately considered a physical lifestyle change in just the last 2 years. Amazing. So the RightSIZE Up project was created to not only explain the significance of these staggering numbers, but why so many people are thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time. More importantly, RightSIZE Up lays a really solid and practical foundation to start the individual transition process to begin segueing from those lives that no longer really seem to apply into lives that we really want now, where quality of life is now priority number one. Don't worry, RightSIZE Up isn't about higher New Age philosophy. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, we're going to assume that you've already been there and you already get all that already. And it's not about politics, because I don't know about you, but I've never gotten it, really, at all. And it's not about environmental issues, not because they're not important. It's just that we cannot start saving the planet until we rekindle our own new sense of humanity and then clarify how we actually want to live on this planet. And it's not about religion, but it is very much about faith, which is a whole other subject, which I'll address in another audiocast. Lastly, if you know anything about us, you already know that our life's work has always been to enlighten, not extort. Inspiration is an investment of one's character, not one's dollars. Now, if any of this is tracking with you, we hope you'll join the conversation at RightSizeUp.com. If it's easier to remember Christopher Lowell, then go to ChristopherLowell.com and click on the RightSIZE Up icon. It'll take you right there. You can't miss it. Now, if you've got time right now, then simply hang on and listen to my next audio blog called Introvert. Ooh. Bye for now, everybody.